So some heartbreaking stories from Venezuela. We've heard them over the years. It's been well documented, to a certain extent at least, as to what has been going on there. And a lot of people just have to flee, like that mother who was saying that she got out 2 years ago. Her husband only got out a week ago, and he was terrified he was going to get stopped at the border. And we've heard a lot of these stories. What's happening, though, now there, do you think? And what's your sense of where this might be going?
Well, today is really, in a way, an inflection point, we think. Because we have seen demonstrations on the street that we had never seen before, in the sense that in the past demonstrations, I mean, Venezuelans have been on the streets for the last 15 years, but was mainly middle class. Today we see people from the very poor areas of Venezuela and even the slums of Venezuela going out on the street protesting and really, really angry about what's going on, and they have lost the fear.
So you're getting a sense that it's a sort of broader range of people, and that's giving you hope that this could be not another false dawn, because we've seen a lot of hopes raised and dashed, haven't we, in recent years?
I am cautiously optimistic in the sense that you can see there are some changes, like, for example, the people who are on the streets, it's a broader range, as you say, the international recognition that, I don't know if you know this, but Guaidó, he was proclaimed as the president of the country based on the Constitution of Venezuela, based on the articles of the Constitution of Venezuela. Guaidó is now the president in charge of the country, and he has been recognized by the United States, by Brazil, by Canada, by Peru, and, you know, more countries are joining up the international pressure on Maduro. So that's also a change.
But having said that, Maduro and is also sitting on an economic basket case, which is only getting worse and worse. But he does seem to still have the support of the military, who he's worked very hard to sort of provide for, hasn't he, and keep them on side. He's also got big loans from the Russians and Chinese. Is he not still in a fairly unassailable position?
He's in a fairly unassailable position, and he has been for a long time. It's actually quite surprising that he's managed to cling to power for so long. But the truth is that the National Assembly made a very clever move, which was to give amnesty to those military officers who would restitute the constitutional status to Venezuela.
So you're saying he's increasingly isolated?
Yes.
And he doesn't have the charisma of Hugo Chavez, does he?
Not.
Looking at him there.
Absolutely not. And, you know, let's be clear, Maduro has inherited a situation that was built by Chavez. Okay, Chavez started with these economic reforms that basically created this crisis when the oil price collapsed. And so Maduro has just inherited it, and he has been quite incapable of managing it. He doesn't have the charisma, as you say. And even inside the party and inside the army, there are fractures. We know of lots of army officers who are detained at the moment, who have been tortured because they have protested against the government. And we know that 2 days ago there was a contingent of National Guards in a very popular area of Venezuela who basically rebelled against the government. So these fractures are evident now.
Now you run a charity which is taking spares, really, the sort of leftovers from the NHS, the hand-me-downs, if you like, medical supplies and equipment, NHS and also Spanish Health Service, send them out to Venezuela. What would you like the UK government to do now? And are you getting enough support, do you think, from Europe?
Well, the UK government, DFID, has clearly stated that Latin America is not a priority and Venezuela is not a priority. So we don't get enough support in that sense. I mean, there is clearly a humanitarian crisis. Venezuela is the largest humanitarian crisis in Latin America, and yet the UK government doesn't recognize it as such. Venezuela is still considered a rich country. Well, actually, it's not. It's not anymore. There are lots of economic indicators that show that. So what we would like to see is more support for humanitarian help, more pressure from an international point of view against Maduro, and also sanctions against those who have stolen Venezuelan rich and are here in the UK laundering the money. This is one thing that definitely the UK could do and could be more active about.
Cinzia De Santis, thank you very much. The view from one campaigner there, working very hard to help people back in their home country.